And it looks like we're starting off the night with a nice southeastern round. Is that water oak? I think it is. It's definitely an oak. Wouldn't be surprised if it's water oak. Water oak does really well in this kind of roadside situation. Often with other oaks. Looks like this is white oak right here. Nice. Another really common oak of the eastern US. Very wide range. I see those curved lobes on the edge of the leaves there. And I also see that whitish bark. They also tend to have kind of shaggy bark as well. Got some, that might be some Dogfennel over there. Try to take a guess. But it definitely strikes me as southeastern coastal plain so far. And it is Dogfennel, look at that. They have those really fine, small leaves that kind of give them this like feathery texture. But a very common roadside plant in open disturbed areas in the southeast. One of my favorite moths, called the Scarlet-bodied Wasp moth, uses the Dogfennel as a host plant, I'm pretty sure. It's a really, really cool looking moth. Sweetgum. Great look at those star-shaped leaves. Man, they're such a valuable plant species in the southeast. Not only are they like really tolerant of a wide range of soils, they're a great host plant, they provide a lot of seeds for birds, and they grow really tall really fast. Ooh, is that Tuliptree? It is! Look at that! There we go. Just as I was talking about it. Those four main lobes. Very characteristic of Tuliptree, and you'll often see it growing alongside Sweetgum, especially east of the Mississippi River, I'd say. Gonna be on this side. Maybe the Atlantic coastal plain. We could also be southern Alabama or Mississippi, but it's feeling more Atlantic to me. Let's do coastal North Carolina, somewhere like this. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Coastal Virginia. Nice. Tuliptree strat coming in clutch. Let's see. Tuliptree. Yeah, you can see very widespread in the east. They don't like it too hot, so you don't see them in South Florida. They definitely don't like it too dry, so you don't really see them in like central Texas, but they start appearing mostly as planted specimens in East Texas, and then as wild specimens east of the Mississippi River mostly. But especially common in the Appalachians and the Atlantic coastal plain. Yeah, I love cook pines, they're awesome. Ooh, speaking of awesome pines, look at this, guys. Wow. Yeah, right there. That's a longleaf pine. Check out those long needles. They're kind of, and how those twigs turn upward at the end. They kind of curve up. Beautiful native pine in the southeast. They're fire adapted. They actually rely on fire. And we have saw palmetto in the understory with let's see, what else? Wax myrtle right there. Nice. That's one I don't talk about much, but it's actually pretty common in the southeast, especially along the coast. They like humid areas. I've seen them growing basically in the water too. Love to see the longleaf, especially on a random round like this. This is crazy. It's playing on an arbitrary United States, but longleaf pines are not a tree I see often on Geoguessr. They're not very common, all things considered, so it's really, really cool to see it. But the overall vibe is actually, I'd say, the Florida Panhandle, like maybe around Tallahassee or something. Maybe around Gainesville, around Jacksonville, that's also possible. There's a lot of saw palmetto, bro. Holy cow. Perry. Yeah, something like that. Let's try it. Oh, wow. Much further south, actually. South of Orlando. I was not expecting that. Highway 630E. Okay. Yeah, longleaf pine is such a beautiful tree, man. Let's see. I'm going to try to find some good photos. Yeah. Big old cones. And also, they have what's called a grass stage. This one is like kind of moving on from the grass stage, but in its grass stage, it really just looks like a clump of grass. But it's actually a pine tree, and it's actually all a defense mechanism against low intensity fires. Dude, the back-to-back Southwest? That's crazy. We got Creosote. Let's go. One of my favorite southwestern desert plants. Yeah, we got tons of Creosote going up this this hill right here. We have Palo Verde. My guess is Foothill Palo Verde, because they tend to prefer the slopes, I think. And then the blue Palo Verde you find in like the desert washes. Yeah, that's a pretty big Palo Verde right there. You can see the green bark. We got a mesquite, probably velvet mesquite, if not like a honey mesquite, but I think that is velvet. Looks like a few prickly pears, but mostly creosote. This very widely spaced creosote. It's a very dry desert. Ooh, what the? A ton of fan palms out there. And a huge lake. Whoa. Let's see. We got some red yucca. Not native, they're actually native to Texas, but widely planted in the Southwest because they're very drought tolerant. Got those beautiful red tubular flowers, hummingbird pollinated. They're really wonderful plants. Very versatile. It's a beautiful landscape, man. Like I want to know what this is. Just had an idea. Hold on. Could we be around Lake Havasu? So I think we're in Arizona looking into California over there. I like that. I like this. Let's send that. Hey, let's go. I've been to Lake Havasu. It's really, really interesting. Also, the fact that they moved the entire London Bridge to this spot is just such an interesting story. If you've never heard, it's crazy.